Science. Science is the pursuit and application of knowledge and understanding of the natural and social world following a systematic methodology based on evidence. Scientist. The world we live in today would no doubt be a different place if it were not for the amazing discoveries produced by the famous scientist. A scientist in a broad sense is a person engaging a systematic activity to acquire knowledge. He may be an expert in one or more areas of science, and he will be performing research towards a more comprehensive understanding of nature, including physical, mathematical and social realms. Albert Einstein is perhaps the most famous scientist of all time. Both his image and brilliant work on theoretical physics live on today, and he serves as an inspiration to young scientists around the world.
I'll tell you something interesting and personal about Einstein first. That he was judged to be an underachiever and an underperformer in his school days. And the teachers said that he would not amount to much, And after he passed out, he actually at one point when he was working as a clerk in the patent office in his place in Switzerland, the Swiss are very big on watches. The Swiss people are, they're quite involved with the inventions of watches. We all know about the Swiss watch. So in those days, a lot of people were bringing in clocks, and Einstein was it's interesting that he was a clerk in the patent office, and so people would bring these clocks to be patented. He was a patent clerk, So this is how nature helped him, because nature brought destiny, nature, life brought all these people one after another with clocks. So this Einstein started thinking about time and about clocks.
Albert Einstein was born on the 14th of March 1879 and died on the 18th of April 1955. He was born in Germany to a Jewish family. Einstein has made many contributions to the field of theoretical physics. Even when very young, Einstein showed great ability in both maths and science. He is also well known for his theory of relativity. In 1921, Einstein won the Nobel Prize in Physics for his work on theoretical physics. 1905 was Einstein's year of wonders. He published 5 essays at breathtaking speed, and one of them was his doctoral thesis. 2 of these essays turned the whole theoretical physics upside down. The term Annus Mirabilis is often used instead of Year of Wonders. For a long time, this term was used to describe the year 1666, when the legendary Sir Isaac Newton established the foundation of modern physics.
Well, there are many theoretical physicists who are of top rank, but Albert Einstein is a singularity, not according to me, but according to all the well-known people in theoretical physics. For example, the great Landau used to say that Albert Einstein is something who is different from rest of the theoretical physicists all over the world. The reason is that, whatever he did, he saw experimental validity of all those ideas in his own life. And in particular, general theory of relativity is supposed to be epitome of classical physics. And in his own life, he saw the validity of this theory in 1919, when there was solar eclipse and he saw the bending of light. Bending of light was proven by all the other experimentalists, and therefore this was the proof of general theory of relativity.
17th March 1905. Einstein submits a paper on the radiation and energetic properties of light to one of the most renowned journals for theoretical physics, the Annals of Physics. And indeed, Einstein throws the world of physics into turmoil because he shows that light possesses particle properties. He thus explains the photoelectric effect, which states that light can convert itself into electricity.
Yeah, Einstein was a great scientist, and Einstein was very famous for developing his theory on special theory of relativity, as well as this energy which goes to mass with velocity of light. But Einstein got his Nobel Prize based on his discovery, which was later known as photoelectric effect. The photoelectric effect is nothing but once a photon comes to a surface, whether it's a metallic or non-metallic, then this photon gives up its energy and then it emits photoelectrons. So basically, in this high vacuum chamber, we evaporate the photoemissive material by thermal evaporation on our substrate, and then with the help of a dry gas we extract the sample from this beadboard, and then we want to characterize into a monochromator where we impinge a monoenergetic photon onto the material and then we collect
photoelectric effect. That also was because of Einstein, when he said that this is happening because light has particles, and the particles of light that are hitting the metal of a certain frequency, they eject the electrons. See, for an ordinary person to understand this is not so difficult, because if you see light falling on a leaf, the leaf would not move because of the light unless there was some wind, right? Supposing you had a room where there was no wind at all, then you can shine light on the leaf, it would not move. If it moves, then because the leaf is matter, it is material, it is not a wave. The leaf is not a wave. So if this leaf was to move because you shine light on it, then that means that light also has some material properties. And this is something similar to what was happening in photoelectric effect.
On 30th April 1905, Einstein completes his 21-page doctoral thesis. In it, he combines two quite different theories, the classical theory on moving liquids and gases and the theory on solutions in liquids. He is the first person to answer the burning question in the field of physics: do atoms really exist? And if so, how can one count them and determine their size? And on 11th May 1905, the editors of the Annals of Physics receive Einstein's next article, which provides the first correct explanation for why, under the microscope, lifeless particles conduct fine random movements. This phenomenon is also known as the Brownian molecular movement. And on 19 December 1905, he expands the ideas on the Brownian molecular movement.
What is Brownian motion? I did this in my school in England in 6th or 7th class. We looked at smoke, particles of smoke through the microscope. And the particles of smoke, they were jiggling and shaking in kind of very random ways. But they were not, they were not moving in a uniform way. They were jiggling and shaking a lot, moving here, more. So this random motion of these small particles of matter, Einstein showed that this is because of molecules and atoms. And not only that, but he calculated using statistical mechanics, using the laws of physics, which were existing at that time. He showed that this, that this can be predicted mathematically, and he made a mathematical model, and he showed that these jiggling motions of small particles of matter, whether in liquid or in gas, is because there are such things as electrons and protons and basically atoms and molecules. So this came at a time when some people used to doubt the existence of fundamental, particles of matter, atom, and Einstein laid all those questions to rest.
On 30th June 1905, a new article was published again, and it was on a different principle, the special theory of relativity. And on 27 September 1905, in his further article on the same subject, the special theory of relativity, he introduces the most famous formula, E equal to mc square.
Convert his own head into a laboratory, and he would do what is called thought experiments. So his most famous thought experiment was, he said, what would happen if I was to ride a beam of light? If I was take a beam of light and sit on it as if it was like a horse, and see what the world would look like. And it was from that he got the intuitions about length contraction and time dilation, etc., which later on he converted into mathematics. And that's how the special theory of relativity was born.
There were many achievements of special theory of relativity, but the towering achievement was the famous formula E is equal to mc square. Once again, it changed the whole paradigm in thinking about the energy and the mass relationship, because E is equal to mc square is so famous that it explains what is the mechanism which goes on in stars so that they radiate energy. It is the conversion of mass into energy, and it was later on found that energy can be also converted into mass. So therefore, this equation is a revolutionary equation which changed the whole thinking of the theoretical physics by all the people all over the world.
He believed that what you see in the universe is impossible just from random occurrences. So a few days before he died, there was an interview he gave where he gave a very important statement. Somebody asked him, that since the advent of quantum mechanics seems to theoretically at least explain all the phenomena that we observe. Every phenomena that we observe can be explained theoretically in terms of quantum mechanics. So he said, the questioner asked Einstein, he said that, have we discovered everything there is to be discovered, or is there something still new to be left to be discovered? And Einstein said, I think there is a lot to be discovered yet, but the scientist of the future would have to be a man of enlarged perception. Enlarged perception, meaning a man firstly with an open mind, and secondly a yogi, because the whole purpose of yoga, the reason yoga exists is to enlarge our perceptive abilities. Yogis are much better perceivers. They are good at witnessing the life around them. They are good at witnessing themselves. So Einstein said that, which I find interesting.
It rarely happens that a scientist manages to develop several theories which revolutionize the concept of nature. It is even more rare that an individual scientist thinks out such fundamental new ideas in different fields that he deserves the Nobel Prize for each individual idea. It appears almost impossible that a 26-year-old could have managed both. It is absolutely incredible and more fascinating that Albert Einstein managed all this in a single year. Annus Mirabilis.